Hey all, and welcome back to Sonic Adventure 2 Battle HD. Oh yes, we're not done with this game just yet, because we've got to check out the best part of it, the Chao raising feature. What is a Chao? Well, if you played the first Sonic Adventure, you'll know that they're basically the spawn of chaos itself. I mean, fucking look at the name, it's chaos without the S. But they're basically digital pets that you can raise, and depending on how you raise them, they can grow and evolve into like various different subforms and whatnot, like neutral Chao with all the different colours and animal parts of the rainbow, hero Chao, which give you access to the hero garden, or dark Chao, which will give you access to the dark garden. We won't be showing off the hero and dark gardens for reasons Flame will explain now. Go Flame.
Yes, in the fact that to get to those gardens, firstly I've just got to show the two forms of childbirth, but yeah, to get to those gardens you need to evolve the Chao into one of the either hero or dark, and to do that takes a good few hours. And when I talk about going forward the time that it takes to do things, time only passes in the Chao garden while you're in the Chao garden. So if something like, for example, needs you to be with the Chao for say 3 hours, that's 3 hours in the garden itself. Not so you can't just think, okay, well this will take this long, so I'll go play some levels and come back in a while. No, you need to be giving them your full attention.
Well, couldn't you just go into the garden, turn off your TV, not the console, just the TV, and go do other things? It's kind of like unlocking Mewtwo in Smash Bros. Melee.
I suppose you could, but would you not want to be there for that sweet moment when you see your Chao evolving?
No, I could think of practically thousands of other things I'd prefer to do, but I digress. What are we going to be covering in this marathon Chao video, Flame, you sick son of a bitch?
Okay, well, so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing off some of the different things you can do with the Chao. So I'll be showing, right now, how the affinity system works of I'm being affectionate to this Chao with a dark character, so it starts taking devilish traits to it, he's turning more evil, he's got his little devil wings at the back and stuff like that. And so if you have a hero character and you do the same, then it kind of makes them more heroic looking.
Goody two shoes.
Or if you want to get that the other way, you can abuse it as a dark character.
Jesus.
But yeah, I'll be jumping between different things here. I'll be showing off things like the effects that Chaos Drives and animals have on them. Mm-hmm. And we'll be going to the kindergarten, we'll be picking up some specialised eggs, and maybe we'll be showing off some races and some fights, because, that's fun. But yeah, I'm cutting out the parts where I go and grind for Chaos Drives off screen, so we're not repeating levels here, so don't worry about that.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, Chaos Drives are stuff you get from, defeating badniks and whatnot, and the animals you can just find scattered throughout the level. There are actually special mythological animals you can get, and I forget, is there a difference between, what levels up your characters flying between the drives and the animals? Are the animals just for, parts and whatnot?
No, the way it works is that the drives are specialised. So, if you got a purple one, that is only fly power. If you get a yellow one, that's only swim power. Whereas the animals tend to have, little elements of multiple, and they also can dock your skills in certain areas. So, for example, if you give it an animal that can't swim, then it docks a bit of the Chao swim power. And it also has effects on the way a Chao can evolve, in that, as well as the affinity affecting evolution, whether it becomes hero or dark, they also have specialised different forms for the different powers. So you get run type Chao, fly type Chao, so on. And the animals actually help persuade it more than the drives do. I think the way the actual data works is that it's a scale from -1 to 1 between the different, between the two biggest influences that a particular Chao has. And I believe the animals add 0.01, whereas the drives only add 0.005.
Let me guess, you got a whole leaflet of information there that you're just reading boringly and point blank off of.
No, see, that's the difference there. I'm not reading this right now. I went through and studied this.
Wow. Alright, so let's get off the educational stuff for a second. Richie, how did you find the Chao system, A, in general, and B, how did you find it compared to the first Sonic Adventure game?
Well, one, Tom, you seem to forget I've never played the original Sonic Adventure game, so I have no idea about how Chao's working in that one. However, I did actually really like the Chao Garden in SA2, and I'm definitely part of the group who would like it to make a return in some way, shape or form, because while it is relatively repetitive, it's not necessarily the best it could have been. In general, it's just a really cute side thing that is sort of relatively fun as well, like the Chao races and the Chao fights, while very simplistic, and it can be very grindy to get the Chaos good enough to be able to win those things, it's still a lot of fun and really, really cute.
I don't know why Sega and Sonic Team have dug their heels in so stubbornly and refused to even make like an app of like a Chao racing thing. The last time I remember Chao's having any kind of like custom relevance was in Sonic Chronicles, where they give you special abilities and whatnot. They may have appeared after that, but that's the most like prolific one I can think of.
Well, you mentioned that they've actually been confirmed as a playable driver in Team Sonic Racing, like a group of them. There's a Child Chao along with a Hero and Dark Chao, and Doma Chao share a kart, which is kind of a weird way of doing it, but I suppose it's better than having Doma Chao playable on his own.
It's true.
Cream fans aren't going to be happy because she's not in anymore, but are there any actual of Cream out there?
I don't think she's playable, at least not that I know, but I don't like Cream anyway, so I'm not fussed.
Wow.
What we're doing here, to bring us back on a little bit, is this is the fortune telling house, which is basically like the name rater from Pokemon. You can give your Chao a nickname, or you can let her pick one, which I'm just taking the names that she suggested, which are not the most imaginative. Like this one is called Brandy. This is the one that was born by being thrown at the wall, so that's going to be his identity from going here forward. He's the neglected one, and the other one is Shadow's favourite.
I see. Brandy is going to learn the maracas. How will this help him find a job? We don't know.
Well, look at what we're doing right now. I think maracas is probably more of a transferable skill.
God, yeah, you're not wrong. Alright, what can we buy on the black market using our almost 50,000 rings?
You can buy eggs which have custom coloured Chao, so like piece it together what colour you're going to get from them, but you can also get specialised fruit, which the fruit that grow in the Chao Garden themselves are just pure stamina fruit, whereas these ones they can bring in other traits as well, like the Chao fruit and the mushroom are sort of a like best of everything sort of dealio. And then the other things that you see there are like watermelon, paper bag, they're things that the Chao can wear on their head. Once they're, I forget the actual terms from knowing to do that. I think it's when they get a bit older they start getting curious, and
I think there's also potentially, depending on how many races or battles they win, I think can also affect how they respond to things. Because I know that after a certain point they can plant the seeds, and then you can have the trees growing and giving you those fruits anyway.
Yeah, they can start planting seeds once they've won a watering can from the Chao race.
Aww.
Yes.
And I think there's certain things like that they can do courses for in school as well. But like the guy in there from Maracas right now, like Maracas after a while, if they've been to that class, they will start playing Maracas in the Chao Garden and piss off all the other Chao.
Now, on the Dreamcast version of SA1 and SA2, there was the VMU, which was kind of like a precursor to, I guess, the Wii U and the Switch, in that you had a little portable device inside your controller, and you could like put your Chao in there and take it with you. So it was also a bit like a Pocket Pikachu in that fashion, just like a Neopet or like a Tamagotchi and so on. So I guess you could play with them on the go, and you could put it back into your controller and transfer them back into the game and so on.
Yeah, and then to follow on from that, the GameCube version had a link up to the advanced games,
yes,
where they had a tiny Chao Garden, which it was basically a super condensed version of the Chao Garden. You could give your Chao like different fruits and stuff, and there were some mini games you could do with it. But yeah, if you wanted to trade it over to the Game Boy Advance and do that using one of them cables, which I did actually have, I haven't got a clue where it would be now, but yeah, I do remember I had one Chao in the tiny Chao garden for like fucking ages before I got around to connecting it up. And when I traded it over, it was still a baby Chao because like they don't evolve in that game, but it was like super OP in terms of like its stats for races and shit.
Like, it's just a buff baby, is what you created there.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, and that's the kind of thing though. When I get around to showing off the races here, I'm still showing off like the different animals and whatnot here, but I'll just be showing the beginner ones because the races are actually surprisingly in depth. There's different courses as you like progress, and I didn't want this to end up being like a 3-hour video of showing off everything, so that's why it's abridged here, folks.
Okay.
I mean, we would definitely be here for a very long time if you try to do everything in the Chao Gardens. I mean, I would assume that Flame, you must have done all of it at some point or another, because you're going to show a little something off at the end of this, are you not? Which requires you to get all of the medals?
Well, in that case, I did mention earlier, if you're paying attention to Rich, but I did download the save file for the sake of showing off everything in this run, because
that's fair enough.
I'm recording from the PC version, yeah, just for convenience, and just didn't want to be doing everything again before I could start recording. But yes, I do have sort of a file back on the GameCube version, which has a good 200 hours on it, where I did all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff on the Chao Garden. Like, I had some Chao that had reincarnated several times, and you know, like, there's a lot you can do, and that I might as well talk about that here. Chao can reincarnate when they die, and that depends on their happiness stat, which is another hidden statistic from you, so you kind of just got to play it by ear and be nice to the thing. And what happens is that they have 2 evolution forms, like where they go into a cocoon and evolve. The first one is like where it commits to its affinity, so it officially becomes a hero or dark Chao.
Gotcha.
And then the second one is death, which if the cocoon goes grey when it dies, then that is just like a permanent death.
Oh.
Whereas if it goes pink, then it reincarnates as an egg, and I believe it actually carries over its stats, like
Yes.
ducks back a little bit, so it basically ends up being like a New Game Plus Chao.
Jesus Christ.
And that is how you get some of the secret Chao. Because like, I was doing some more research. I always knew this was complicated, but like, if you want one of these specific Chaos Chao, then I think you have to let it reincarnate like 5 times.
God
and
almighty.
then max out the happiness and stuff like that. And it's really fucking, like, you know, back in the day when you used to look up stuff on super sheets and sites like that, and it looked like someone was just bullshitting you. No, that's actually how the Chao Garden stuff works in this. This is the principal's office, where it's basically a text dump. So I'm just showing this off for info, but yeah.
So what information is he actually giving us here? Is it just like a summary, just in case you forget and whatnot?
Basically, it's going to be telling us stuff about like the on-the-surface stuff. So it doesn't really go into detail about like the secret stuff, but like about how feeding them affects them, how like they grow up, and I think he talks about the school a bit and stuff like that. I was reading through this and now I got like halfway in and realised he's rambling a bit here, but I've already committed to this, so yeah, we're going to see what he has to say.
Oh, Jesus. You mentioned the Chaos Chao, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just going to read the description here. Creating a Chaos Chao is a long process. In order for a Chao to become a Chaos Chao, it needs to have reincarnated or transformed, as the game calls it, at least twice. How the player raises the Chao in its previous lives has absolutely no impact on whether or not a Chao can become a Chaos Chao. After a Chao transforms for the second time, the player can give it at least one of every small animal in the game. The player can still feed it fruit, and should do so to keep their Chao happy. If all the requirements are met, when the Chao evolves, it should come out of the cocoon as a Chaos Chao, as seen in the above picture, not featured here because I'm a lazy fucker.
The 3 designs of the Chao, like the Chaos Chao, there's one that's like the super neutral one, which it sort of takes the shape of Chaos Zero a little bit, and it's got like glassy looking arms, like its fists and that, which are kind of cool to look at. There's the hero one, which is an angel. Just flat out, it is an angel. And my favourite one, which is the devil Chao, and like its little orb thing above its head is like a ball of flame, and it's like it looks like it wants to eat your fucking soul. It's so cool. I love that so much.
There are actually a special type of Chao that look exactly like, well, I say exactly, just like Chao versions of the characters in the game, like a Sonic Chao, a Tails Chao, a Knuckles Chao. I think that was also in SA1, but it's much more beefed out here.
Well, there's different kinds of character Chao. There's some like unofficial ones which is sort of playing off that it's just how they grow like that, and they're like, if it's, I believe, neutral run, then it becomes like a Sonic one. If it's dark run, it becomes Shadow. If I think it's neutral fly, it becomes Knights. And if it's dark fly, then it's Riala.
Nice.
But then there's also some special event Chao. So like there's one from Phantasy Star Online, which was like from an in-game event that you could transfer over, which is the Tails one. And then there were some like event-only ones of Knuckles and Amy Chao as well.
Okay.
Which they don't look quite as impressive as the like natural evolved ones, at least in my eyes. Like they look just like chibi versions of Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. Whereas the Sonic one is so fucking cool. Like it is like a little miniature Sonic with like this solid blue colour to it, and just I like having the run type Chao in general because I like watching them run really fast around the Chao Garden, which they start doing after they reach a certain quota on their run stat.
Yeah, they like Naruto run everywhere, don't they? It's so adorable.
A little bit. Like they have a certain threshold where they stop like crawling around and start walking on two legs, and then further down the line they get one where they stop just walking and they start like sprinting everywhere. And that becomes especially amusing after a while, like if they become friendly with them and they start responding to your whistle. And if you've got a lot of Chao at that level, then you can just whistle in the Chao Garden and then you get loads of them just swarming towards you. Which I used to love doing that back in the day on the GameCube one.
Oh, there's actually different like special colours and whatnot. Like I'm looking up a guide here on this thing called chow.hippotank.com /SA2B/breeds. There's the monotone Chao, which is just a single colour. Then you've got like a two-tone one, so the one I see here is like pink with a blue belly. Then you have a shiny Chao. Let's see, it doesn't explain how to get that, but then you have the jewel Chao, which are a rarer breed of Chao, which have a special jewel-like pattern to them. Imagine a shiny, sparkling crystal. It's also commonly thought of as a metallic sheen. It has a single jewel coat, which defines its colour. It comes in silver, gold, ruby, sapphire, amethyst, emerald, garnet, aquamarine, peridot, topaz, or onyx. You can find each jewel coat in the Chao gallery. That's what I'm doing here. Oh my god, it has drop-down menus and everything. This is such a fucking in-depth system. There's more thought put into the Chao Garden system in SA2 than the actual fucking main game.
Pretty much, yeah.
There is so much you can do here. Like them dual ones that you were talking about, they are ones that I believe you can import from SADX. Like they're the ones that you sort of find around the the hub worlds, like that one like shiny, I think it was like the shiny emeraldy sort of one that you would get from near where you go into Speed Highway and things like that. And then you can like use either the VMU or the like Game Boy Advance to transfer it from one game to the next. The ones that are like shiny two-tone, the way you get them is by breeding one of these shiny Chaos that are just hatched here with like one of the natural Chaos, the standard two-tone ones. And the thing that amuses me about them particular ones, like that particular crossbreed of them, is that in the HD version, they somehow managed to fuck up the textures for them, so they just glow. Like, they're just like a solid white, and it looks so terrifying, like with their eyes just sort of floating on them.
Yeah, I've seen the image, and it is terrifying.
Question for you, Flame. Which Chao Gardens do you prefer? The ones in SA1 or these ones?
These ones overall, I think that might be because there's I spent a lot more time here because there's a lot more you can do with the Chao in SA2. One thing I will say is that, as you mentioned, we're not going to be able to show off the Hero and Dark Chao Gardens here, but they were both redesigned in battle. In the original Dreamcast version, like the Dark one had like a little bit more of a rocky region over on the side. The Hero one, the biggest difference that I recall is that they've made the water shallower, and the reason for that is because Tails is so short, you used to be able to drown him in the Chao Garden.
That's amazing.
They had to take that, like they had to adjust that just so you could take Tails in there without him dying.
Jesus.
But yes, this guy's finished his Maracas training now, so yeah, he can be fucking obnoxious.
Yay. Just like us. One of us. I'm assuming you're not going to show off, like, any of the other playable characters in the Chao Garden, correct?
Nah, I'm just showing off Sonic and Shadow as
Why would you deprive people of Eggman's wonderful running animation?
I know, and also yoish!
Yeah, I didn't actually think of the Yosh thing until I was done, unfortunately. But,
well.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sort of at this point, I'm training up this guy Zippy because he's going to be my race entrant. And so I want him to have a little bit of an advantage over the other ones, just so that I've got a safe win.
Just like breeding him with all the colours and like drugs of the rainbow.
I mean, that's the fun thing of the Chao Gardens in SA2, is that basically it's just let's fill up our beautiful children with drugs so that we can put them into races and bet on their victory for medals, because clearly that's a good thing to be doing with young children.
I guess so. Flame, what colour is that, well, stupid question, but is the golden thing shiny or a jewel, Chao? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
That's a shiny one.
Okay.
The shiny ones are the ones you buy from the black market, the jewel ones are the ones that you get in SADX.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this little fucker's being picky with his food, and I think it might be because it's Sonic giving it to him rather than Shadow.
You abused the shit out of him as Shadow. He's learned to understand that.
No, that's the other one.
Affection comes from Shadow, not Sonic.
Yeah, well, like, I haven't abused this one. This is the one that I like. It's like having a favourite child here.
Gosh, never breed, Flame, never breed.
Don't worry, I don't think you need to worry about that. The fact I'm making a video about the Chao Garden kind of confirms it.
Oh, I don't think you realise just how smooth the people making these Chao websites are, Flame. Shoutouts to you, Hippo Tank.
Oh, definitely, because I mean, this site is amazingly in-depth and I love it.
It really is.
Yeah, that site's been around forever. I seem to recall using that back when I used to play the GameCube one back in the day.
Let's see. Hero, Run, Jewel. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, sorry, go on. I was just amusing myself.
Alright, now we can talk about what's actually on screen. We're going into a race here, and I'll be showing off the beginner races, just so you can see the different kinds of courses we'll get, because the courses are sort of divided up into specialties. So like, you can probably take a guess, Crabpool's going to be swimming. That says Stumo Valley. I think it's meant to be Stump Valley, but it's
definitely
like,
meant to be Stump Valley.
Look at all these losers without any special body parts and whatnot. Pathetic.
Look at the fact that my one can walk on both legs and they're just sort of crawling their way.
Babies all. Alright, here we go.
First up, the swimming test. No, they're both asleep at the starting line. Like, that's how motivated our rivals are.
Well, you know, that gun's loaded and he will shoot it at anyone that's still asleep after the bang goes off. Alright, so how does this work, Flame? Because I'm only seeing a stamina meter here.
Right, so for the most part, the Chao will be doing all the work with the different stats that you've built up.
Good.
So, like, this one, it's got okay-ish sort of swim stats at the moment, so it can swim a little bit faster than the others right now. What you're seeing there with that stamina gauge is the stamina is influenced by the fruits that they eat in the Chao Garden. And what happens there is that you can press A to cheer them, and they just use up a burst of their stamina, and it gives them like a little boost. But if you run out, then you really start to notice that you've run out, because it feels like an absolute drag when they're sort of slugging their way along with no stamina at all.
I feel like I put more effort into actually raising my Chao in SA2 as opposed to the first game. And I think what I wanted to ask you, Flame, about whether you like the ones in the first game or this better, is that I feel the SA2 ones are better because they're compact. Like, the ones in SA1 are kind of big, actually, so you gotta go around the island, find your chance, like, alright, here you go, here's the thing, and then blur. So it's just like extra nitpick work, I guess.
Well, it's because you're thinking of the full-length long courses from the SA1 version, which I think the later ones you unlock are longer here. So...
Yes, they are. Because basically with SA2 you have the beginner race level.
No, I'm talking about the hubs, the Chao hubs.
Oh, the hubs are... Yeah, I don't know anything about the hubs in the original, so I can't really comment on those. But I know that with races, they gradually do get longer and definitely more challenging.
Well, it's only really the egg carrier one that was big in SA1. Like, the Station Square and Mystic Ruins ones were both about similar sort of size, like maybe a little bit bigger, but...
I guess.
Like, I remember the Mystic Ruins one was kind of awkward to navigate at times, because there was like some weird geometry, but... they weren't really that big.
I mean, there's also the fact that no matter which Chao Garden you want to visit here, they're all connected to like the main teleporter room. Whereas in SA1, you had to go to the different hub areas So again, nitpick / busy work.
We're wrong again because they had teleporters from one to another.
Did they?
Yeah, like once you've been to them once, then you can teleport to them from the other ones.
Oh yeah, of course. But you have to be in one of the Chao Gardens to teleport first, Mr. Man.
I think you're just whining over a non-issue, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of game is SA1 anyway? Let's be honest here.
Yeah, SA2's better.
Was he just... Oh my god, is Entom trolling? Was he doing the long con? All this time, I love this, by the way. Look how close this is.
Yeah, I think mine might have cut the corner a little bit there, but fuck it, he won.
Well, thank God he did cut the corner, because otherwise he would have lost, and then you would have had to redo the whole thing, and we would have just laughed at you.
Well, yeah, you can't expect Flame to keep in failed takes and whatnot. He has to hide the fact that he's terrible at raising Chao.
To be fair, the first race was a retake, but yeah.
Nice. Alright, we got...
No, it was I went in, I did the Mushroom Forest one to start with, and like, he sort of barely won, and I wanted to shove a better run off, so I decided to go and grind him up a bit more off screen.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. Just shove all those fruits down his throat.
Yeah. This one I seem to recall being the running variant of the Chao race, so this is where he gets to put having the ability to stand on two legs to good use.
Ah.
Possibly good use, we'll say. I like some of the expressions here, because some of them, like, I like that cheeky little grin that they got. Look at number 6 there! Christ, he's gonna fucking eat someone!
He's gonna stab you in the back while you're running across the finish line, mate. You want to watch out for him.
It's a good thing he ain't got any pockets, because Christ knows what he'd be carrying with him.
All these guys seem kind of adept at running, so hopefully you use your stamina wisely here.
Yeah, and if I'm going to say one of the things that did happen in an outtake is that your Chao can trip over.
Yes.
And fall to the back, and that is so annoying when that happens.
Sakurai! You know what's funny? I heard that Iwata was the one who asked Sakurai not to put tripping in explicitly, but to make it more, like, approachable to, like, casual players and whatnot. So that's when Sakurai got the idea for tripping and so on, to make it the great equalizer.
Ah.
Yeah, although maybe that weren't the best way of making it more casual friendly if it completely shoots down, like, skill-based play. But, hey.
Yeah, well, I read another interview where fans in Famitsu asked him 100 questions, and one of them was, I don't think of like hardcore or casual, I just make games for everyone.
Yeah, well, like, why would you bother putting too much work into a party game, you know?
We are literally playing a minigame here, what do you want from me?
No, this is a serious competitive esport.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be at the GDQ this year? Like, we're days away from Summer Games Done Quick 2018 right now at the time of recording.
Wait, really? I hadn't seen anything about it. Jesus Christ, I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, it's like Red Nose Day. It surprises me every time it comes around. By the way, it's also the 2018 World Cup right now.
Yeah, and don't I bloody know it. There's some people having a party in like the house on the other end of our garden. I'm just like, for God's sake, sod off!
I'll stop bitching about it, you passive-aggressive shit.
I just can't wait for the little pond down the end of the road from me to get vandalised again like it does every fucking World Cup.
I'm not even going to ask. I've lost interest in life right now because of football.
God, we sound like them fucking, like, you know, losers who read about normies all the time. So, yeah.
So, you, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, Christ. I think we've just got, like, the karate left now, so, you know, we can have some more competitive esports here in terms of Evo material.
Jesus, like, is this the last thing we see before we die of starvation in the caves? Just Chao lighting his face ominously. Anywho, enough of the shitty creepypastas. Who are we entering here, mate?
Same guy. He's my one that got looked after in this playthrough.
Good stuff. And we only have 10 minutes left, thank the fucking Lord.
Oh, but we've got like 4 fights here.
Explain how it works.
Okay, so this is another thing like the race where the bulk of the work is done by the Chao itself. The Zil meter at the bottom, when that runs low, you just got a button mash to kind of boost your Chao confidence and make him stand back up.
Okay.
But other than that, it is basically watching Chao slowly crawl towards each other, then throw a punch or a kick. So yeah, this is influenced, I believe, quite a lot by the power stat.
Yes.
So you want to get plenty of red ones to make them do some beefy damage. But obviously things like, you know, run make you move a little bit quicker. And I think, like, there's other side effects of the other ones, but I can't remember exactly what does what. Because, like, they're not necessarily obvious.
Well, if I recall correctly, the more stamina you have means that your zeal stays up for longer, but might be slightly wrong on that. It's been a very long time since I played the Chao Garden.
See, all this automation just, like, reinforces my idea that they should make a new Chao, like, raising and breeding system. Because Pokemon Quest uses this type of, like, automated attack thing, and you can, like, raise up your Pokemon lines. Just make it a fucking mobile game! What's wrong with you? Don't you want money and positive reception?
I know, it's one of those things where it's just like, for most things, people are just like, oh, don't turn it into a freaking mobile game. But the Chao Garden is actually the thing that would be perfect to make into a mobile game, so why don't you just do it?
See, I'm gonna have to say there that, like, I can see why people think of mobile apps, but I think part of the strength of the Chao Garden is that it ties into the game.
Yeah,
like, it's things that you pick up from the game that you can bring in, and it kind of doubles down as like a motivator for replaying levels as well. And so I would much rather see it return like in a proper game.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, like maybe it could be the sort of thing that they find some way to do like a mini Switch thing or something, you know, like a download game, and then they could have like a degree of like gameplay tied alongside. Yeah, that could work.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Or even just make like a prelude game, like, oh, we're working on something special, transfer your Chaos from Chao Razor into Sonic Adventure 3, never happening edition.
Yeah, it's definitely never happening, but as my dear, yeah, I think that would be sort of what they like.
I love that.
That is perfect. But yeah, I think a lot of people would actually be down with that as an idea, because I mean, pretty much every time Sonic news comes out, one of the things that I do see regularly is the Chao Garden coming back. And I think when you've got, I mean, obviously there's the why aren't we having Sonic Adventure 3 contingent, which really just let it go already. But the Chao Garden, I feel, is one where, yeah, why not let it come back? Because I think that actually a lot of people would really like to see its return.
One argument against it coming back I can think of is, well, they just don't want to make like another adventure-style game with hubs and so on, and my counter to that is SA2 is a linear game, much like Colours, etc. It's very level-based and whatnot. I mean, you know, you can select from a menu and whatnot, but it still has this system in it, so it's not the lack of a proper 3D, like, run around in the environment game that's stopping it from happening. They just don't want to do it for whatever reason, and I do not understand why.
I think a possibility is the argument of like allocating development time.
Yeah.
Because like you can see from just like that page that you were looking at that there is so much to what makes the Chao Garden where it is. and like especially given it feels like they work on like short development turnarounds these days, which is why every fucking Sonic game gets rushed at the last minute.
Yep.
So like maybe it just doesn't get the development time from Sega that it really needs.
Like the one that pissed me off the most recently was Forces. It was like,
Yes.
oh, good games take time to develop. 2 of that fucking like year cycle of the 4 years it took to make was developing the Hedgehog Engine 2. So it only had a couple of years, and it fucking shows.
Definitely.
And the fact that the actual integration of Hedgehog Engine 2 into Forces wasn't that great, at least not as well integrated as the Hedgehog Engine 1 was into Unleashed.
It looks fine, does Forces, but it should look better given that it's on the fucking PS4.
Oh god, yeah, it's just like the fact that arguably Sonic Unleashed is still the best looking Sonic game we've ever had in terms of like lighting and art design and all that jazz. It's just like, seriously? Have you not found a way of kind of matching it up at all?
Well, it's solely down to integration, because I've seen some tech demos of like the Hedgehog Engine 2 being used on other things, and it does handle lighting really well. It's just like, I think the use of colour hurt Forces a lot, in the fact that like they would have quite strong overlays. Like the one that sticks out to me is like the fucking piss yellow city level. That like that could have had some clever things going with it, but because they had that filter over it that sucked out a lot of the contrast, it just like lost it.
Nice. Dinner is cancelled.
Fuck, I'm getting hungry.
Oh, good stuff, Liam, good stuff. So I guess we've got a couple more matches left, and then we are the beginner champion.
This is the last one, as you can see from that little meter on the left there.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
This we are going to have to make happy, not so happy. He's the tough one. He is also the reason why the Chao Karate took me a few attempts.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
He's hard, like, he hits hard, he runs fast, he's just, like, he's the tough one.
Like, he's burning for his zeal meter, something fair, so yeah. Like, even this could have, like, online stuff and so on. Even fucking Mario Party, like, the upcoming Super Mario Party, has, like, online minigames from what I hear, so...
Yeah, why don't they just make the whole fucking game online, though? People have been asking that for years.
Because... you could just drop out at any given time, and I understand at this point, but I think it's a nice compromise to have online mini-games, because that's the heart of Mario Party, really.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I suppose the argument is that a regular board of Mario Party takes actually a surprisingly long amount of time, whereas mini-games and also your other typical multiplayer games, you're generally only playing for about maybe 5 minute to at most 10-minute bursts. So really, people don't tend to necessarily always stay for like 20-40 minute chunks of time in a single battle.
Exactly, and this is what it says about Super Mario Party, just while Zippy finishes up here. Let's see. Players will be able to play the game's 80 mini-games with other players either locally or online, independent of the board games, in the online Mario-thon mode. Players compete in 5 randomly selected mini-games aiming to get the highest score. It has leaderboards and a ranking system, as well as currently unknown rewards that players will get for playing the mode. Take this into account if you ever make a fucking online Chao on Sega. It will work, trust me. Just bring Chao's back, for the love of God!
Right, there is one more thing to show off here, and you ready for some feels?
Oh no.
This one Chao that's had admittedly a really fucking shit life in this Chao garden since being thrown at the wall at birth, and his life went about as well as that going forward. But yes, there is a way to say goodbye to a Chao for good.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's brutal!
Have you no heart, David Cage? Must you be so merciless?
But the reason for this is that there is a hard cap on how many Chao you can have in the garden at once. And yeah, that art in the background don't look properly, which is funny.
Oh my god. Oh my god! That's awful. That's even worse than letting the Chao escape. I can't forgive art not scrolling correctly. Oh, I love the Chao system in SA2. What a damn shame they just didn't have the balls to bring it back. But we have one more extras video for you, so come back next time for the true finale of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle HD. See you then.